One of the things that Bree Newsome Bass said that struck me was that we must take responsibility for the time that we hold. A new generation of urban leaders is taking hold of this time and taking responsibility for shaping the future. Among those leaders, Michelle Wu, the daughter of Taiwanese immigrants. She's the youngest person elected mayor of Boston. Wu is the first woman elected to hold the office and the first woman of color elected to the top spot at City Hall since the city was founded in 1630. I sat down with Mayor Wu at Hampshire House near Beacon Hill to talk about the steps she'll take to make good on those promises. Michelle Wu is the new mayor of Boston. Thank you for having me in your fine city. It's so nice to be here. You said in your swearing-in ceremony something that I thought was so interesting. You said, city government is special. We're the level closest to the people, so we must do the big and the small. So on your agenda, what's the big and what's the small?
I ran on a number of big issues. One of them front and center was on a Boston Green New Deal. As a coastal city, we are very vulnerable, and the impacts of climate change fall just in line with racial disparities across the city, exacerbating economic disparities. And so the big is that we will be the leading city tackling issues when it comes to reducing emissions, delivering health and well-being, creating the jobs that the green economy brings. And then the little is how city government gets it done each and every day. We will double the number of street trees in Boston to absorb the storm water and clean our air. It seems small, but every tree we plant is in some ways the most effective technology, and it adds up to cleaner air, less asthma, better health for everyone, and a much faster pace to hit our goals.
1/3, I think, of the people who are eligible to vote voted in this election.
We're fighting against a number of historic factors as well. We still have barriers in terms of pre-registration period to be eligible to vote. We need to keep expanding. This was the very first election in Boston at the city level where we had early voting and mail-in ballots, and we need to just keep taking down those barriers. But there's also a sense that for many years, we often haven't delivered from the perspective of government, and that candidates or election cycles are based on promises that don't get followed up on.
So it sort of doesn't matter. Vote, don't vote.
And that is the beauty of city government, is that we are truly the level where we can start to build that trust back, to earn back people's confidence by getting the little things done that add up to big things. So as important as sweeping policies are and budget decisions and funding, the most important of all is civic engagement and really bringing people into the process so that we are expanding who is shaping our future.
Does your ethnic identity change the conversation in your agenda? And the answer might be no, not at all. I have things I'm going to get done, doesn't really matter.
It's impossible to separate the policies and the lens through which I see the world from my lived experience as a woman of color, as an Asian American, as a mom with young kids. And we've seen in politics recently, in the world recently, that hatred and white supremacy, and whether it's the rise of anti-Asian hate or the renewed call for justice in the Black Lives Matter movement, whether it is the rise of anti-Semitism, that we're still very much in a place in our country where racial justice is deeply embedded in every single policy decision that we need to make. And in this moment, when the challenges are so urgent, when the issues feel like there is a mountain to deal with, in some ways, the silver lining is that the same steps we need to take to address our climate crisis or to tackle our housing crisis are the exact same steps to close the racial wealth gap, to create opportunity for everyone. And so we are running towards bending that arc of justice, recognizing how intersectional all of our issues and communities are.
There seems to be a new generation of young politicians who literally are, I think, really challenging some of the old ways that things were done politically.
It's so exciting to see the energy in cities across the country, next generation leadership, people who reflect communities who haven't had seats at those tables for a long time, and having this connection, being able to see the work that's happening and be part of the same movement is something that I really treasure. If I can be in government and politics as someone who is naturally pretty introverted, never connected, didn't grow up with any sort of networks or thought or interaction with anything related to politics, if I can be in this role now, everyone should see themselves as connected to being part of policymaking and shaping our future.
Madam Mayor, thank you for talking with me. I like the way that sounds.
Thanks for having me.